Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. How you doing today? Good. It's raining here in San Diego, California, America's finest city. Can you believe that? This is our first rain of the season, so it's pretty super weird. But to level it out, we are going to talk to Leslie Capps. Leslie's down in Wyoming. I'm asking what they doing down there besides riding horses. You always think about that. When you say Wyoming, you think of the wide open spaces. But she's writing a book, and it's called Ditch the Pitch. We're always pitching something, whether you know it or not. Your personality, your charm, your vocabulary, your business. How are you delivering that? What are you saying? What does that include? Who's your target market? Who's your audience? How are you captivating them, keeping them involved, keeping them engaged, keeping them excited? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. Let's welcome to the show. How you doing, Miss Leslie?
Doing awesome. Thank you for having me and letting me share with your brains.
Yes, absolutely. They need it, okay? Because we need leveling out. We've been doing so much, and pitching has really been it. People have been trying to sell us stuff. If it's the truth, if it's a lie, I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, folks are busy. Tell us a little bit about you, Leslie, and how you show up in the world, and then about Ditch the Pitch.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm Leslie Capps and I own Wild Woman Marketing. And really, my online journey started as a life coach. And it was through trying to figure out my own struggles in marketing. And I did all the things, all the courses, followed all the gurus. Truth be told, I did eventually find the system that worked for me. But what I discovered in that process was I loved marketing. Who could have figured that one out, right? But so many different areas, so many fun things about marketing. And as I did then in my marketing career, all the things, right? The ads, whatever it was, I realized that the very basic part of marketing is being able to tell our story. And how do we
Correct.
tell that, right, concisely and engage people and really tap into that emotion, because all decisions are made on emotions. So that created a real shift for me in my business.
Well, that's very powerful because, again, like I said, people look at sales as sleazy. Sales brains is psychology. You are selling to value. I'll tell you a quick story. I went looking for a car. I said, I'm going to go test drive a whole bunch of stuff. I said, well, let me start at the high end. I went Mercedes Benz. Honey, I'm driving. The salesperson, I wasn't planning on buying no Mercedes Benz. Trust me. I get in there. He rolls the window down. He tells me, oh, can't you just see your afro blowing in the wind? Can't you smell this leather? Are you comfortable? Turn on your favorite jazz station. Let's go for a little longer ride. I said, I'm getting a little warm. He said, well, I have something for that, Miss Mahoney. He hit the sea cooler. I told him to go right that sucker up. Because he sold to value. He listened to me. He saw my emotion, my passion, and he fell right in line. He tapped into the psychology. Marketing is also psychology because it's ebbs and flows, it's ever changing. What's new in the marketing arena right now? How are people really positioning themselves? I mean, we got AI that's doing a lot of the work. We've got social media. We've got, print ad is pretty much obsolete. Someone was telling me about a magazine. I said, I don't even see magazines on the rack anymore. What is new in marketing?
I think, right, it's all a matter of perspective, but I think there's lots of creative ways of doing marketing. And, one comment about, like, I love your story, right? And that's the kind of salespeople we want to be, is that we're listening and then we're solving a problem if we can. And
Absolutely.
and if he couldn't have solved your problem, hopefully he would have been conscientious enough to say, hey, Miss Mahoney, I don't have what you're looking for, but Joe Schmo down the street, I got a relationship with him. He has exactly what you're looking for, right? Um, and the other thing is, um, we're natural marketers. Let's be real. Like if we love something, we tell everybody we know. If we hate something, we tell everybody we know. But when it comes to ourselves, like we get weirded out. Somehow that's different. I can't tell you how many people say, oh, I can't market myself. Yeah, you can. You do all the time. It's just changing that perspective of how you're doing it.
Well, always looking for validation in somebody to co-sign. If you know what you know what you know. And
Right.
if you don't know, you don't know. There are people out there in the world that are the best salespeople in the world. I'll use a couple examples. I knew Muhammad Ali as a child, and he would say all the time that he was the greatest.
Right.
He was a GOAT. He was the greatest of all times. You look at entertainers, you look at politicians. They make you believe, they keep regurgitating the same message and it gets ingrained in your psyche. Also, providing people with options. Like you said, in the event that I don't have it, maybe Leslie has it, maybe Betty has it. But people look at you as a viable, credible source because you're not selfish. You're
Right.
willing to share the wealth and you're willing to expose that. And then when that person gets the sale, they're going to reciprocate and they're going to refer somebody to you. So that co-signing on it is huge.
Absolutely, right? And yeah, and you make a great point for superstars, right? Because we all know Beyonce. And what did she do? She had to create an alter ego.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell the people I work with, if you can't step into that story, let's create that alter ego.
Mm,
If you need that voice in your head that's a little bit stronger and pushing you and shoving, let's create that. Because heck, we're normal people. If Beyonce needs an alter ego, the rest of us sure the heck do, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. And also being able to personify that and live that experience.
Great.
There are people that are fashionistas, but when you see them out in town, they have no makeup on, they don't have, the fancy clothes. You have to have that persona. In addition to that, you have to have visibility. Tell people about the visibility and the importance of visibility in marketing.
Oh gosh. Um, I I think it's a hard thing sometimes to grasp because we think of visibility as going viral, right? That we're getting 100 people liking our posts, and that is really not it. It's super fascinating, but the reason you need to post on social media is it's just a billboard, right? People see what
Absolutely.
you're doing. I can't tell you. So I've been writing a book and I posted for 45 days, just a minute every day.
I've been following you.
Yeah, no, it was kind of fun. Like I got a little bit addicted, not gonna lie. I was like, oh, I'm gonna miss talking to everybody every day. Um, but people would reach out and say, oh, I see you're doing this, or oh, what about that? But they never commented on the post.
Mm, mm,
So, right, thinking of that as a billboard, just letting people know. And then really your visibility is more like getting with Miss April and doing her podcast, reaching bigger numbers, a wider audience, writing books, speaking on stages. That to me is more going to get you more visibility.
right.
But the billboards, right? People at least know your name. They sort of know what you're doing, that kind of thing. So in
The
my mind, yeah.
influencers, and the younger millennials are into that. I don't want a million followers. I'm gonna be honest with you, Brains. I love you, but I don't need a million of you because
A
that
million
does
brains, that would be a lot.
absolutely. But that does not translate into sales.
Right, right,
You got people liking and, okay, great. You got these influencers that are talking about it. That's important. People talking about you instead of you always talking about yourself. I get that because you got testimonials and then you got some street cred, but it does not equal conversions. And conversions is dollars and cents.
right.
Marketing is not sales. Marketing is positioning. Marketing is visibility. Marketing is credibility. Marketing is longevity. Marketing is branding. People don't understand what branding is. Will you explain to them what branding is? Oh, I'm rebranding. Really? It's not like you're putting a piece of metal on some hot coals and sticking it to somebody's butt. Really, what is branding?
Yeah. Well, probably it feels like that at sometimes, right?
Right.
And it's so interesting because I've had this conversation with multiple people, right? And I think we all have our definition as of branding, which makes it even more complicated and convoluted because every person is like, oh, this is what branding is.
Mhm.
Uh, but to me, and especially when you're a single entrepreneur, right? This is branding. You are the brand.
Right.
And it's not like you can pick colors and whatever. In my opinion, they don't really make a difference other than the fact that you have some sort of consistency, right? But a brand is your values, your mission, what you stand for, what you provide to people, who you serve, all of that encompassed in this sort of persona, if
Right.
you,
Now, I put a different spin on it because consistency is key. When
right,
you look at that check, you know that's Nike. When
right,
you see the Coca-Cola logo, when you see the Walmart logo, the Target logo, you don't need to say anything. You know exactly who they are. Consistency is key. You will see people that will uh, brand, and every time they do an event, they've got somebody helping them, and there's different colors and there's different fonts and this, that. You need to be consistent. You need to be recognizable.
right. And all,
When somebody sees,
yeah,
this is Leslie Caps, they want to know that that's her. When they see this right here, there's no doubt in their mind who this is. They know exactly who this is. Everything from my t-shirts to my coffee mugs to my messaging, all of it has a consistent look and feel. Logos are important. Now you say colors don't matter, but I've had a couple guests on my show that are really into uh, the deep dive as far as matching the colors with the personality and also how that is received and perceived by an audience.
well, and yeah, I tend to say stuff, right, that everybody's like, oh,
Oh,
colors don't, yeah, colors don't matter in the sense of like we get all hung up in that, right?
right.
I know people who spend months on choosing a color. And
Mm.
at the end of the day, if you're, then they should reach out to the folks you're talking about. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, unless it's a hideous green, um, like there's some colors like we just want to avoid, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to go wrong in that sense. And I totally agree with you, consistency. But I also think like we put way too much emphasis on, well, we're never going to be McDonald's or whatever, or Burger King or Nike. So like give ourselves a little credit here because I've changed logos a couple times, but not like massive changes, right? And yeah, this rebranding thing, I'm not really sure why that's become such a big deal.
Because
Because,
it's trendy, it's a big $25 word. They think that they're really doing something and you ain't doing nothing. Because you didn't, and I say that with love, because you
right,
didn't grab anybody with the first one. So
right,
because you didn't grab anybody with the first one, now all of a sudden you figure if you just, alakazam, you change it, that you're going to have a whole new slew of people. No.
oh, yeah, and I think you're on to something. You're totally on to something because, yeah, a lot of times is not a big shift, or it is a big shift and everybody's confused. Really, that's so much like our stories, right? There's got to be, if you're going to rebrand, then have a real intentional goal for it. Just
Right.
like if you're going to tell a story, have a real intentional goal for it and connect, build the bridge, right? Um, if you're rebranding, what's the bridge? Because people are confused. And if you don't build it for them, then our brains are going, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Um, and we
And
don't
what
want to leave
happens
people in that
sometimes
spot.
too is that you can lose a lot of customers because they don't know who you are.
Right.
And you look
Or they're
flaky.
confused. Yeah.
You look flaky. Every time you turn around, they're doing this and doing that. You're investing time and energy. Let's talk about web pages, websites, and the use of artificial intelligence. Okay, now, uh, and a little bit of copyright too when it comes to marketing. When websites, I'm gonna be honest with you, I I'm about to take mine down. People like, well, really, people like landing pages. People still spending $4,000 or $5,000. Oh, I need to have my website up. People are not going through 4 or 5 pages. They want it quick and slick. They want to be able to look at it. The critical six: who, what, when, where, why, and how. Boom. What you got to offer. They want to go through that. They want to pull up some content. They want to Google your name. They want to see how you are represented and how you interact with other people. Okay, but all of this, so landing pages, I don't think that they're doing that very much. Copyright infringement. Brains, you got to be careful with that. It's still a liability. You are taking people's content. For me, I get real crunchy about that. You know, I keep my intellectual property because it is my body of work. I've had people to go in, be on the podcast, want to slice and dice, want to insert a product. I didn't endorse that product. Then I'm held liable for that. They want to do sound bites. You don't even know what the preceding question was. You don't know what the response was afterwards, but it looked good. Clickbait. You don't know what you're doing. So I don't allow people to do that. You can really get yourself messed up.
Sure.
Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Uh, and yeah, I was gonna say,
Artificial intelligence. They're after me. They want my content bad. They're wanting to pay me big dollars because what that is I'm taking my interviews, my intellectual property, I am selling it or, reassigning it to a third party. But again, what are they going to do with that content?
right.
And that's all artificial intelligence is a big old brain of resources that is able to regurgitate information to you. Are you finding that that's becoming a blessing or a hindrance in the marketing arena?
I see it as a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's made me way more creative. You can things that like social posting, for instance, right? We can get all in our heads about how the wording sounds. And I typically will write something out, put it in Chat GPT and say, give me an opinion, right? Using it in that way. So it's really freed up some of my mental work that was being done on stuff that was lower level tasks.
Right,
That
right,
makes
right.
sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like a VA on steroids.
And it's really good because again, it's a broad perspective. I mean, when you put that in there, this could have been the opinion of 1,000 people
Right.
versus the opinion of one. You don't plagiarize when you use Chat GPT or other artificial intelligence because you will be busted.
Right.
But it is an aid and you have a conversation with it. This is the wave of the future, but it's like graphic design. You used to have a graphic artist that would do everything by hand, and then all of a sudden you have all of this online. What are the drawbacks to this as well? What should marketers be concerned about? Because they're afraid and they're intimidated about losing positions, being taken over by machines.
Right. Yeah, and I have a hard time seeing that perspective only in the sense that allows you to do so many more things, right? But I think the harm might be in getting lazy about it. Just asking chat, create something for me, and
Right.
then us not taking responsibility and saying, oh, that doesn't sound right, or that's not what I meant, or that's not what I wanted, and going in and adjusting it. Um, I've had people say, "Oh, I can tell when AI's written something." And somebody the other day said, "Oh, it looks like AI wrote you for that." And I started laughing. I was like, "Nope, that was all me on that one."
But now AI is moving more into the behavioral models of
Right.
what people, and that's what marketing has done for a
Yep.
long time. They go in and they take what is that studies and they do focus groups,
Sure.
and so they gather all of this data based upon people's buying habits, their emotions, their demographics, all of these things, and they compile it. Okay, so now AI is able to do that, but they don't have the emotional sensibility. You
Right.
know, that's like me. Okay, yeah, Mercedes is a great brand and it's a luxury brand, but did it speak to my emotion? No, it spoke to my emotion when I got inside that seat and he hit that button. And so that, what is that? And so now as they move more intricately into that, we want to be aware of it. But I tell people, if you position yourself, understand, like you've done, Leslie, how to use it, how to implement it, you don't have to be afraid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. And I think the things that are on the horizon for AI are going to be mind blowing, right?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we want to sort of keep at least pace with it in the sense of knowing a little bit what's going on and what's coming.
Hmm. It just kind of scares me though, because I look on uh, social media, on television, and you can actually see where the automation and the voice inflections of AI has really injected and infused itself. Sometimes it's scary. Like you probably seen the one on social media where they got the cat dancing and jumps in all these different clothing options, or you'll see the political figures and they're all doing breakdancing or whatever, and the face is there. You look at that, or in the entertainment industry. My brother was in the entertainment industry, and now the voiceover and the voice quality.
Right,
It can be scary. It can
right.
be scary. But again, just like anything else can be dangerous and can be scary, you got to be, you got to be prepared. Talking about being prepared, let's talk about ditch the pitch. Tell us a little bit about that, your writing process, and what is on the horizon.
Sure. Well, um, first off, I think the book title switched from the last time we talked because somebody, right? Somebody had that title. And talking about intellectual property rights, a lot of people said, "Oh, you could still use it and just change the subtitle." I was like, "No. No. That like there's plenty of titles. It's I, I need my own lane and I don't want to encroach on their lane." So it's turn your story into business gold, the ultimate guide to stories that sell.
Ooh,
The writing process, yeah, I'll tell Miss April knows this, but I'll tell you in a minute where the book is headed and why I wrote the book. I didn't really have a book on my mind. I had kind of thought about one, but it's like a lot of work, right? And then this opportunity came up, and it was a very short time span. So I had to really think about what would be not so much what would be the cost of it in terms of time, money, and energy, but more what could potentially be the results down the line. Um, would it get me to who I wanted to be, where I wanted my to take my business? And the answer was heck yes. So jumped in, and funny we're talking about AI. So I had 30 days and I knew I had to be super, super focused and how could I streamline? Because I'm not the greatest typer. The brain works super fast, fingers not so much. So I ended up talking into pacing around the garage and talking into my phone each chapter to get the bulk of the information down and then go back and start working with it.
brilliant.
It worked for me slick because like I say, there's a disconnect in the speed here and then here, and I'd be like, well, I had all these great ideas and now I'm just looking at a blank screen. So yeah, that was a great system.
Okay, so you talked into your phone and then you uploaded it.
Yep. So my phone had Otter AI, and so it transcribed it, and then I came into my computer and was able to pull up the transcription, and I dumped it into a Google Doc and started, right? Then I
Wow.
had the ideas and could start then creating the sentences and the structure and the flow and that kind of thing.
See how that worked, brains? And it was she's written a book. And what day are you on? Well, at this excuse me, by the time this airs, the book will be completed. But for the most part, where are you at?
So we're actually at this point, we're like 30 days, almost 30 days to launching the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote it in, I think it was 30, it might have been 32. Um, I know in my mind, I kind of had that 30-day mark.
Right.
And a couple days before that, the book person said, I need a rough draft in 3 days. I was like, holy moly. I will say, like everything, it takes a team, right? I had people beta reading when I got that call about I need the rough draft in 30 days. I had a friend who had been reading and she said, do you mind if I fix your formatting in your book? She says, just driving me crazy. I was like, thank you, fix it, because it's driving me crazy too, but I don't have the time to do that.
Mhm.
So she came along behind me, formatted, people jumped in and read different sections. And so it really was a team effort
That's a
for that.
labor of love because I'm telling you, to get people to read your work, they'll read, they won't read it. It'll be said, oh girl, I had to go to the grocery store. You know, my kids had soccer practice or where they don't uh they don't give you the love. And it's not, intentional, but
Right.
folks are busy. They have stuff that they have to do. So
Absolutely.
tell them the coup de grace. Why did you write the book and where's it headed?
Right. Yeah. It's headed to the Oscars. We're going to the Oscars, brains.
What?
Uh, I know. That's what I said too. When the opportunity was proposed, I was like, sure, pass my name forward. And then when the person at the gifting lounge accepted, I was like, holy moly, what did I do? But again, it for me, it was I'm never going to get that opportunity again. I didn't foresee um, that it could potentially be a once in a lifetime, and I wasn't going to pass it up. I don't know where it'll go, but I think
Well,
it's
you
gonna,
have to manifest where
right?
it's going to go. You have to speak it into existence because it only takes one person to open that. I've done the Oscars and the Emmys, and I've seen those gift bags. I even got a couple of them, and let me tell you, they are scrumptious. But somebody's going to open it up. They're going to be having a cocktail by the pool. They're going to flip through it, and they're going to go, "Wow, this Leslie Caps is the business. Let me take her tips and incorporate them because again, they're cutting edge, they're trendy. You know what's going on. You're feeling the pulse of the people. You're tasting it on your palate as to what is resonating in our hearts. What we need now. What does marketing look like? And in the entertainment industry, just as an example, they always have a spinoff. They want to, because they're not always acting. uh, but they may have a perfume line. They're doing a lot of alcohol lines now. They may have a clothing line. So how are they going to use this brand, this image, this persona to leverage themselves to make them attractive in other areas? And so you have all of that inside the pages of the book. I'm so excited for you. That is really, really wonderful. And you got to market it even after the Oscars because all of us aren't going to get those gift bags. So, what are you going to do to market yourself and position yourself after the big event with the
Sure.
book?
So we've got, book launches December 17th and a launch obviously around the Oscars. And then I'll be speaking at a summit on International Women's Day and we'll launch again. So it'll be, as April said earlier, who was it? Oh, like Elon Musk. I'll
Right.
be launching all over the place.
Launching
Um,
all over the place.
Yeah, but then obviously using it as a business card, right? Sending it if you want to be on somebody's podcast, if you want to speak on their summit, be on their TV show, whatever it is, using that as a business card, as well as my plan is to create courses around that book. And I've also got two books more planned because I loved writing. I still have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of words in my head. So, um, yeah,
Well,
that's
that
the
see
plan.
again, brains. You see how she has springboard from one thing to another to another to another. You cannot stay stagnant. I have sold 25,000 copies of my three little books. Okay, and I'm not on Amazon. But what I have done is I told myself if they gonna still sell the Bible, baby, I'm still gonna sell mine.
There you go.
And you can't get bored with it. You are giving birth to a body of literary work. You are leaving a legacy. You are leaving an imprint. And so you have to continue to grow on that. Like, do other things, do the summit, do the book launch, use it as a club, but also sell that puppy.
Right,
If you give it away all the time, brains, it becomes a pamphlet. It becomes ordinary. Your work is extraordinary. Your blood, sweat, and tears, all the pacing that you did in that garage, is worth something. So make the investment, make the purchase. The purchase is not necessarily for Leslie. Leslie's giving birth. Now, what you need to do is figure out how to raise it and incorporate it in your life to make it viable so that you can use these skills and talents.
Absolutely.
Let's ask you some fun questions.
All right.
What in the world do you do there in Wyoming?
What in the world do I? What do I do? That's always a good question, right? Because there's lots of land, not that many people. And in fact, I joked during COVID that 6 feet apart, we were in Wyoming. We were like, what's the big deal? We're 6 feet apart all the time anyway. So a lot of outdoor stuff. This time of year, maybe not quite as much, but yeah, spending a lot of time outside.
What's your favorite guilty pleasure?
Ooh, my favorite guilty pleasure. Let me think about that. I was gonna say the first thing that popped to mind was TV and movies. Because like, yeah, true confessions, like everybody's gonna laugh. Movies, I love Legally Blonde and The Fast and the Furious.
Ooh.
Both of those, like I could watch over and over again and yeah, be super happy.
I know mine is As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson.
Ooh, that's a great one.
And Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I can watch that over and over, and I Love Lucy.
Right?
Over and over again. If you were an appliance in the kitchen, Leslie Capps, what appliance would you be?
Coffee maker.
Why?
Yeah, because you bring smells and happiness to people in the morning.
I'd be the refrigerator. I just want to sit somewhere and chill. And if you make me mad, I'm gonna freeze you out. How about that?
Right.
Yeah, you have to wait on me to get thawed out because I'm gonna put the freeze to you. If you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you choose to be?
A sunflower.
Oh, that's beautiful. If you were an animal, what animal would you be?
Oh, a fox.
A fox. I can see that. I look in your eyes and I see a fox. Why do you like the fox?
Well, there's some spiritual connections for me with the fox, right? Yeah, but I think, their ability to survive in all sorts of conditions, right? Be adaptable, be flexible, coexist with bigger critters than them that could potentially eat them. So yeah, that sort of harmony, I feel like they really live within nature in that harmony.
And they do have a nurturing spirit. They're good parents. They really take care. And they're in Wyoming, that's the one of the birthplaces of Native Americans. And so there's a lot of, I get it when you say, spiritual connection. So I have a couple spirit animals as well that really guide me and always kind of show up at the right place at the right time. If you could time travel, you could go back to the past, stay here in the present, project to the future, where would you land?
Oh gosh. So I'm time challenged anyway, and I have like one of those weird relationships with time. I gotta say right here, right now, like whatever's going, like I am happy on this journey, right? Wherever it leads, wherever it's been, like I'm happy with the person I've become in it. So yeah, for me, they're right here.
Well, not me, honey. I'm a straight space cadet. I'm ready.
I love that, right?
I am ready to go to the future. I done already seen what happened in the past. I'm living here in the present. I'm ready to go to the next phase.
Right.
If you were a car, what kind of car would you be?
Oh, 64 Ford Mustang.
What? You like it fast and furious? Huh?
I do.
I know.
Yeah.
I'd be a 1974 VW van.
Oh, nice.
With the flowers on it and the hookah pipe and the mattress in the back and a big fine brother with an afro sitting there lifting the Jimi Hendrix. I've seen it. I've seen it a million times. I don't need to be that Mercedes. I already did that. Okay.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
good. That is good. Well, Leslie, you have been a wealth of information and so much fun. And I thank you. I'm so proud of you. I can't wait to see what is inside the pages and get the response from from the book. I want you to come back and share more information with us. Keep us abreast as to what's going on because marketing is a moving target. It's ever evolving. It's based upon what the trends are, what people's emotions are, what their spending habits are, but also, most important thing is how you sell yourself and the value that you bring to others. Thank you so much. You have been so valuable to me. Tell my brains how to get in contact with you, as well as if you have any offerings and potentially where we're going to find that book.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, April. It's been a pleasure to be here with you. And you can, I do have a free gift. It's the five secrets to strategic storytelling. That seemed like a mouthful right now. And it's, what is it? Free gift from less. So it's FREE gift, GIFT from FROM less, LES.com. You can get that. Likewise, so the thing I would tell you about marketing is stay true to your story, right? That is going to be what connects you to other people is your story. And I would love to come back when the book has launched and the book is going to be on Amazon. Yeah, looked at other choices. I was like, I'm going to take the easy one this go around. So,
Well, it'd be great if you could also maybe convert all that audio into an audiobook because that's my zone of genius right now. I'm sitting here, I'm
absolutely.
multitasking, I'm doing some editing, but I'm listening to a book and I'm eating a sandwich.
Right?
So I'm doing
Exactly.
three things at once, but people really like that. So when they have something to look forward to, they can download it when they're in their car, when they're riding their bike. And I talked to you about a couple other options for really kind of getting it out there because people need learning aids. They
Right.
need to stay and they need to stay involved and engaged. Thank you so much, Leslie Caps. I appreciate you. Brains, we're going to put all of our contact information at the back of the interview and down at the show notes. When the book is out and released, we're going to put that out there. I want you to run, not walk. I want you to run to go get the free gift, but also listen to what she's saying if you are this entrepreneur. I don't want you to be ultra poor. I want you to know how to position yourself. Thank you so much. Love, like, share, and subscribe. You see the logo? You see the consistency? You see Hello Brains? I'm talking to you. Love, like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you again real soon, Leslie. You're the
Thank
best.
you.
Bye, Brains.